welcome back to Dolphins United, the platform for Dolphins. You heard me, boy. We back in the house here. Season is right up upon us. It's coming. We got week one right around the corner. But before we get there, how's this team looking on offense this year versus last year? Did we upgrade? All right, so that's the question, right? Because I want to know, and I've been trying to figure out, have we upgraded on offense at key positions in key spots? So let's go ahead and go over that real quick. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to break this down grade-wise, last year versus how I feel going into the year this year, if we've upgraded or downgraded. We're going to do offensive video, and we're going to do a defensive video as well. So stay tuned for the defensive video in the next few days, but we're going to talk about the offense first, okay? We're going to get right into this thing. Quarterback. Oh, boy. All right, last year, going in, we had Skyler, we had White, we had Tua. We knew going into that year, if Tua gets hurt, Tua can't stay healthy, we probably going to be in trouble, okay? I feel real good about the offense, but I gave, not the offense, the quarterbacks, but I gave him a chance, all right? I would say going into the year, I was thinking like overall, talent-wise, everything, that it was about a B minus, C plus for that position. And that's because of Tua having such a good year the year before, okay? When we ended the year, based on everything that happened, and y'all know what happened, adding Tyler Huntley into the mix as well, we ended at a C minus. We downgraded, okay? Because the guys' backups didn't play up to par, and Tua himself didn't play up to par. Going into this year, we add Zach Wilson, we add Quinn Ewers through the draft as well. We still have Tua, right? So we know Zach Wilson, we weren't that good, right? Quinn Ewers, surprisingly, it's not been that bad for a 7th round pick. So, do I feel better about the quarterbacks going into this year? Yes, I actually do, because I feel like what we've seen so far can actually translate to 1 or 2 wins over a 6-game stretch if Tua was to miss 6 like he did last time. 2 or 3 wins, all right? 500. With that being said, you're not expecting a backup quarterback to win every game. You just need him to hold his own while the starter's out. Hopefully Tua's not out. If Tua is out for any extended period of time, I feel a little better about this situation than I did last year. So if last year was a C minus at the end of the year, I feel like we've slightly upgraded to a B, okay? A B. Not a B minus, a B. But that's mainly because I feel like Tua has mastered the offense, and that Tua, if healthy, can still be his 2023 self, where he led the league in passing yards, had 29 touchdowns, and had a 70 completion percentage, right? That's a good quarterback. So we could be a B, and I don't feel like the drop-off is as steep as it was previously, because Zach Wilson has some tools, and Quinn Ewers looks like he could run this offense to some degree. All right, whereas Skyler looked like his head was in the clouds most of the time. Not that Skyler doesn't have some tools. We see him in preseason this year, best preseason quarterback. Again, right? We've seen that before from him. And maybe that offense is more tailored to what he can do than this one was, but he couldn't get it. Quinn Ewers got it pretty much right away. There's a difference, okay? So with that being said, B. And that's not bad. But let's move on to another position, running back. Is running back better than last year? Let's find out. Last year, Mostert, Jeff Wilson, the Rook, Jalen Wright, and then we also had Achane starter. Okay. It was supposed to be a 1A, 1B thing with Mostert and Achane. That did not work out. Achane fumbles. I'm not sure what else. He ended up in the doghouse. Didn't get a whole lot of playing time. He also was battling a little injury as well. Achane battled some injuries. Okay, he was another guy in and out of the lineup. All right, running game was not good last year. Previous year, it was excellent. Last year, not that good. Going into the year, I had the the running backs about B plus. Going into the year, because it was pretty good the year previous. Although, and I would say verging on an A, right? Because it was really good the previous year with most of having all them touchdowns and HN really coming on. Matter of fact, I'll change it. A. I'll give it an A. Low A. Okay, low A. But I'll give it an A. Throughout the year, towards the end of the year, we downgraded to a C. Okay? We ended the year at a C at that position, in my opinion. That's not good. Have we upgraded the position? Okay? This year, Jalen Wright's coming back. Achane's coming back. We add Ollie Gordon. That's good. We also added Madison. He gets hurt. Okay? So now we bring in Jeff Wilson again. And we'll see what happens with him. But have we upgraded for real? Now, when you look at the preseason this year, running game, it was up and down. All right, Achane is hurt. He might play. We'll see. In the preview, I'll let you know for sure if he's actually supposed to be playing or not. But it's pretty stagnant. We end at a C last year. And this year, I would give us right now a B minus B. All right, it's not a B plus or anything like that. And I would say that we have upgraded slightly from last year because HN is healthy. Okay, that goes into account. And on top of that, Ollie Gordon looks like he can hold it down. All right, when you can have a backup running back come in there and hold it down, that gives you a little bit more confidence in that position. Okay, so we have definitely upgraded slightly from last year, but not by a lot because there are a lot of unknowns. Can Jalen Wright also be better than he was last year? Is Achane still the same running back he was 2 years ago? And also, can Ollie Gordon do some of the things that he did in preseason in regular season? A lot of unknowns. All right, so we have slightly upgraded in that position, but it ain't a lot, okay? So we got a lot to see when it comes to the running backs. Moving on, all right? We're going to skip fullback. We're going to go straight to tight end. When it comes to the tight ends, have we upgraded over last year? Now, last year, going into the year, it was Jonnu, it was Smythe, and it was who's the other tight end? Julian Hill, all right? When it comes to those three guys, I would say going into the year, I felt like it was about a B minus, C plus B minus on that position group. And as the year kept going on, because of Jonnu mainly, at the end of the year, we ended up a B plus. Okay? C plus B minus to a B plus. And that's because Julian Hill was not really holding his own and had a lot of penalties and a lot of negative plays for us that it couldn't have been better than that. Julian Hill kind of brought it down a little bit, and so did Smythe. Smythe had his worst year with us last year. That brought the position down grade-wise. If it was Jonnu by itself, I'd give it an 8. But because it's a whole group, I have to bring the grade down a little bit because it just was not as good as you would want to see as a position, right? Did we upgrade? We ended as a B plus. Did we upgrade in position this year? Now, we think about it. We lost Jonnu to trade. We got rid of Smythe, didn't re-sign him. We kept Julian Hill. All right, so now what do we add in its stead? We have an unknown guy that we signed to the regular roster that we claimed. Okay, I don't know much about dude. We'll find out about him. but then we went out and got Darren Waller. So we replaced Jonnu with Darren Waller. He's kind of an unknown, but when he was playing, he was really good. Better than Jonnu Smith. So now we kind of upgraded that position, and we kept Julian Hill, and then we have an unknown. We didn't upgrade the position. I would say, if anything, because of the unknown, we downgraded the position to a B minus. All right, so it was a B plus at the end of last year, in my opinion, because of the way Jonnu played. And now, instead of a B, we're downgraded to a B minus. Okay, it's not quite C level, because I'm going off the potential of what Waller can be in this offense compared to what Jonnu was last year. I see the same type of play coming from him, same type of upside. But if Waller doesn't turn out to be that, we could see some serious downgrading in this position. Let's hope he can hold on. But right now, I got it at a B minus. Okay, that's not good, because we downgraded at that position. Whereas running backs, quarterbacks, we kind of upgraded a little bit based on how it turned out last year. Moving on, we're going to go to wide receivers, all right? And I'm really going to talk about the top three, because that's what I care about most, all right, when we talk about wide receivers. Let's talk about the top three mainly, okay? Because those are the guys that's mostly on the field. So we're going to go ahead last year, all right? The three starters going into last year, it was Tyreek Hill, it was Waddle, and it was Berrios going into last year. All right. Then we had a rookie and Malik that was on the team as well as Odell Beckham. Okay. Odell Beckham was also on the squad. That didn't pretty much work out. All right. Talking about the top three, though, Berrios being that third guy. Going into the year, that was an A-plus unit. Okay. That's what it was. Going into the year, Waddle, Tyreek, and Berrios, it was an A-plus unit because of those top two guys. They balled out in 2023. Injuries, Tua missing games. You know what I'm saying? The wide receivers having their own injuries. So that's what I mean by injuries. It wasn't good. So if we started at an A-plus, by about mid-season, it wasn't no A-plus no more, was it? All right? We ended the year at like a C+. That's not good, because these guys did not hold up their end at all. Tyreek had his worst year in a long time. Jalen had his worst year overall. Berrios didn't have a great year either. Okay? Like I said, partly due to Tua. Tua is back now. Okay? So, do I expect Tyreek and Waddle starting out the year to be a heck of a lot better than C+? Absolutely. Did also Malik Washington upgrade his game last year to help it stay a C+ rather than being worse? Yes, he upgraded his game. Is he better than Berrios in this offense? Yes, he is. So if last year we started off at an A+ because those two guys held up their end, Tyreek Hill and Waddle, because of the previous year, and then going into this year, you have those guys coming back, and you have an upgrade at the third slot with Malik Washington, then I would say this offense, based on ending at a C+, going into this year, should be an A. And that's where I have it. All right? It's not an A+ where it was, but it's an A. Okay? Because I expect Tyreek Hill to have a bounce back year. I expect Waddle to have a bounce back year. And I expect Washington to be an upgrade to Berrios. Then you still have Westbrook Akine, and you still have D, and then you still also have the other Washington brother. Okay, so we got some stuff to work with. I got us as an A on the wide receiver end. That position group, A grade going into the year. We'll see where we end. Did we upgrade? Yes, but that's because Tua's healthy, Waddle's healthy, Tyreek's healthy, and Washington is an upgrade, and so are some of the other wide receivers we have at that position as well. They're upgrades. So I will give us an A going into the year. Best unit on offense, spoiler alert. All right, now let's go to the last unit we're going to talk about on offense, which happens to be the offensive line. Has the offensive line upgraded from last year? Now, this is a tough one because last year you had Teron Armstead, you had Brewer, you had Eichenberg, you had Jones, you had Jackson, right? That, my friends, it didn't turn out well. Okay, let's just say that it did not turn out well. Jackson got hurt. Teron played most of the games. Eichenberg, I believe, got hurt as well. We kept shuffling through the offensive line. We couldn't run that well. We took more sacks. If the offensive line went into the year at a C plus, we ended the year at a D plus because Tyron was the only thing that was holding us up, and Brewer. Tyron and Brewer, okay? But Tyron couldn't hold up as well as we needed him to. Brewer was kind of up and down a little bit. He wasn't bad now, but he wasn't great either last year. I'm kind of learning the offense still, and it just didn't work overall. And while those two positions worked, the other three, while those two positions worked at tackle and center, the other three didn't really work. So we ended at a D. By the year was over for me, that was a D plus effort, position wise. How have we upgraded? No more Teron. Now we have Paul. Paul has looked like an absolute beast in preseason so far. That has to count for something. I have to go off of that and add that to the pack, right? Then we also added James Daniels. Ooh, I love that. You got Brew coming back, and then you got the rook that you picked up in Savai Naya. And then on top of that, you have Jackson coming back. So is that an upgrade? Absolutely an upgrade at 3 spots, sorry. Because you got injury coming back hopefully in Jackson. You have Savai Naya, and then you have Daniels, right? The only thing we don't have an upgrade at is Teron Armstead versus Paul. I will say this, though, that Paul is an up-and-coming guy, right? He has a lot of upside, but he is not no Teron Armstead. So going into the year last year, C+. I got us going into this year, B-. Slight upgrade. Let's see how we end. But it's a B- rather than a C+ going into the year because Savai Naya looks good. You have James. I mean, offense, when it comes to the starters, it's not horrible. Savai Naya is probably your worst lineman going into the year because he's a rookie, right? I'll take that over what we had last year, right? We had 2 guys and 3 possibles last year. This year, it's looking like 4 guys and a possible, maybe 2 possibles, 3 guys and 2 possibles, right? That's better than last year. So when it comes to the offensive line, B-. Potentially could be a B+. We don't know. Or better, right? We'll see what happens injury-wise because this is the beginning of the year before any injury takes place, right? And that's where we are with this offense. Now, if I put all those grades together, I don't know what I would get because I'm doing this off the top of my head. I did not want to go into this putting grades on paper and things like that. I wanted to talk straight from the heart and how I felt in the moment, right? But if I put all them grades together, we're probably looking at a B minus offense at best. B minus to B offense at best. And that's okay going into the year. Is that a Pro Bowl laden team on offense? Probably not. Is that a deep playoff team? Absolutely not. Scraping wild card? Possibly. We could get by scraping wild card with a B offense, B minus B offense. But we need the guys that are supposed to elevate the team, wide receivers, quarterback, and at least 3 of those offensive linemen to keep the standard or raise their standard. Yes, we need that to happen. All right, we definitely need that to happen. Let me know how you feel about my grades, and also tell me your grades, and then I'm also going to do the defense as well. We're going to get into the defense because that's very important to do so, and find out where they were last year versus where they are this year. Spoiler alert, probably a little better than last year in some places, and definitely not in others. But I'll holler at y'all. Y'all already know what it is. Fins up till we die. Boy, the season right around the corner. Cannot wait. I'm out.